Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Overleveled podcast. This is part one of the Dark Road to Kingdom Hearts. This is the first part of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. The last episode that we did was more of an introduction to the series, and today we are covering the opening of Kingdom Hearts to the point where you leave Travers Town. And today in this series, as always, I am joined by my good buddy Dash. How are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm excited. I'm really pumped right now. I have so much energy. Yes. You have no idea.
You chugged all those Monster Energies at work today, huh?
Oh yeah, and now I'm drinking a Diet Coke. So I am ready.
That's good to hear. I guess before we go straight into just discussing this and kind of opening up your brain and kind of dissecting this game in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I guess just how have you enjoyed the game so far, just in general?
In general, like, I looked at it a little bit too critical at first. I was kind of just trying to analyze everything because I knew we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of was like, I should just enjoy the game. I go, let's just relax. And then that's when I started to have a lot of fun. A few existential crises, because I was like, I'm sure we'll get into it. I'm sure we'll talk about it. A few existential crises because of just my competitive nature, and I was upset. But I right now I'm really enjoying the story so far, and it has gotten a few laughs out of me. Some of the stuff that's happened in the game so far.
That's good to hear, man. Yeah, I know, and you know too, I've been telling you, I'm really happy we're doing this series, but you know, this game series from the very beginning is really dependent on just you just kind of sitting back and letting the game kind of take you away. So, you know, if all the note taking and all that gets too much for you, you know, maybe, take a break from that and just kind of take a step back and enjoy the game. And it kind of sounds like that's what you've decided to do. So I'm happy that, you're enjoying it like the way you should enjoy a video game.
I'm taking this like fully blind too, because there's items and stuff like in Travers Town you can buy.
Yep.
And I had to fight every urge in my body not to look up what's the best item to buy off the rip. I was just like, no, don't look it up. Just look at what's there and figure it out yourself and just go from there.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. We'll talk more about this as we go through the series, but Kingdom Hearts 1 is probably the most difficult game as far as direction goes. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to that of the old school JRPGs and adventure games where you're kind of thrown in a situation with little explanation as to where you need to go, and you're kind of just left to go explore and figure it out for yourself.
I can so relate to that already, but yeah.
yeah, it gets I'll say it gets better. It gets better down the line. You know, this first game, like I said in like the first episode, a lot of people kind of look at this game as either the middle of the road or best or worst in the series. You know, I would say if you're enjoying your time here so far, you're going to really enjoy everything else that comes after this.
Yeah, and it's definitely way too, if you're playing along or, whatever, it's definitely way too early to say you do like or hate this as well. Like,
yeah, this is everything we're covering today, like specifically. This is just, we are getting a feel for how this game is presenting Kingdom Hearts to us. This is the introduction to the series, the introduction to the game. We really haven't seen anything yet.
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay, well, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to give a brief summary real fast of just kind of everything that has happened in this portion. So basically, you start the game and you're in this dreamscape area and you have all these different options. Like what kind of weapon are you going to use? Then you got more options, like you said, a lot of stuff to give you an existential crisis.
Yeah.
And then you kind of fight this tutorial boss. And you wake up from the dream and you're on Destiny Islands. You're playing as Sora, who is 14 years old, and his two best friends, Riku and Kairi. Kairi is also 14, and Riku is 15. Y'all are all just homies on this island, and y'all have a very strong desire to leave the island and go explore the other worlds that are out there. So after doing some friendly contest type shenanigans and picking up little items here and there to help build the raft.
Nothing friendly about those competitions.
Yeah. You go and you give all the materials to Kyrie, and you watch a couple of cutscenes, and the world, or at least the island that you're on, gets destroyed, and you end up kind of getting flown across the universe, I guess, and you end up in a place called Travers Town or Traverse Town. I think they pronounce it Travers Town in the game, but I think technically, because it's this place where people arrive and like from other worlds, and like they're traversing like these lanes in space. I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like it should be Traverse Town. You know?
I could see it, but Travers Town's how I read it too. So
yeah. So we'll just say Travers Town for here. And so anyway, so you arrive in Travers Town. You're looking for your buddies, and you run into some other characters along the way, and they kind of help explain kind of what the Keyblade is, what the Heartless are, and all this stuff. And then you run into Donald and Goofy, and y'all both kind of agree to help each other in your conquest, and you board the gummy ship together, and that's kind of where we stop today. You've played a little bit further past this part, am I right?
A little. No, because I was sitting there. I did go to the hub after that, and then I go, wait, I want to go back into the store and kind of look at what I want, because then I realized I could give Donald and Goofy items.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I should probably, I wanted to save the money that I got, but I was like, I should probably give them some stuff to make my life a little easier. So yes and no.
Okay, gotcha, understood. Let's go ahead. I've got lots of questions for you, and
I have a lot of answers.
Cool. Before we get to all these questions, though, I'm, while me and you have been working together, I've been telling you, like, I've got hella notes. I've been note taking like a motherfucker. So
I think I got about 2 pages worth of notes. I don't think that compares to you, but I got about 2 pages worth.
Yeah, I have at least a short story worth of notes.
Jesus,
not a novella, but a short story.
Yeah, something that gets you through lunchtime.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to talk about the title screen.
Okay.
At the title screen, we see you're playing the final mix version of the game.
Yes.
This is the common version that everyone who, every modern person who tries to get into the series, I guess they could jump back to the PS2 version and play the PS2 version, but for the most part, if you're playing this game for the first time, you're likely playing the final mix version. And the image on the background, you see Sora holding a flag. And he's got his little hood up and everything, which, by the way, that hood, Sora never wears his hood.
Yeah, he looks edgy. He looks like an edgy boy, edgy teen.
In this artwork, he definitely looks edgy. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you this image right here. This is what Kingdom Hearts looked like on the PS2.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of showed Sora sitting there with his little tootsies in the water, and he's holding a stick, and he has a dead fish in his mouth.
Oh my God, he does.
Yeah. A little weird.
Why?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Anyways, so this is right off the bat, you're seeing some fantastic artwork from Tetsuya Nomura. As well as being the director of this game, he is also the character designer and art director. Everything visually that you're seeing, where you're like, oh, okay, that's visual. I don't know. That's visual. That's Nomura,
That's visual. I can see that.
That's pretty visual. So one thing that I wanted to just kind of point out, the song that's playing in the background is called Dearly Beloved by Yoko Shimomura. Right off the bat, what's the song doing for you, buddy?
Oh, dude, I literally, first note I have is I sat on the menu and just listened to the music for a little while. One, because I wanted to see what you were talking about, and two, I wanted to also just take it in. Like, I was like, I don't want to start the journey yet. I just want to just listen. and just hear it out. And I found myself, and then I looked down at my phone, and it was like 30 minutes later, and I go, ooh. I go,
just listening to it.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, too much time. I go, I was like, ooh, okay, let's get started. But I loved it. It was kind of like a lo-fi and chill kind of vibe. You know what I mean? You put it on, and it's just like a chill beat, right on that main menu.
Especially with the fact you kind of get like ocean wave sounds in the background.
Oh yeah, put me to sleep, dude. Put me to sleep.
yeah, I'll freaking play that for my baby at night, dude.
White noise.
Yeah, beautiful. So another thing too, just kind of if you're sitting there on the main menu, if you're sitting there for long enough, there is actually a video that will start playing, and this video is basically acts as a preview of the game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of accompanied with this orchestrated version of Simple and Clean.
Yes.
By Utada Hikaru, who is the woman who has been writing all of the music with lyrics. So all of the mainline Kingdom Hearts games have like theme songs with lyrics played in their openings, and this one, Simple and Clean, this is just the orchestrated version of the opening movie that we'll see in a little bit. But it starts off with a bunch of text, and I'm just going to read all this text right here because it gives me chills every time that I see it nowadays. Thinking of you wherever you are, we pray for our sorrows to end and hope that our hearts will blend. Now I will step forward and realize this wish, and who knows, starting a new journey may not be so hard. Or maybe it has already begun. There are many worlds, but they share the same sky, one destiny. Whew. Okay, so that's a heater of a piece of text that we'll see later on. Mm-hmm. Just kind of some foreshadowing spoiler for you. Yeah, pretty much everything else, it's kind of just a trailer for the game. You'll see a lot, just Sora and Donald and Goofy in all of these worlds kind of just running around. You'll see clips of cutscenes and stuff. There's nothing really special in that opening movie other than maybe just the song in the background and the text at the very beginning. Did you get a chance to watch that or no?
Yeah, I did. I was I kind of caught a little bit of the preview and I was listening to that main menu music, and then I kept just touching the joystick to just, kind of chill.
go back.
Yeah, kind of chill on the main menu for a bit, and then after a while I did watch it, and I was like, actually I was a little confused because I thought I pressed X to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I sat there for a little bit, and it started playing the preview, and I go, oh, cool, the opening cutscene. I was like, wait. I was like, it ended. I go, what happened?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe they're showing like a little preview of what's going to happen in the game. That's cool. That's a cool opening cutscene. That's not what it was.
Yeah, this is so funny because that I think was my same experience on the PlayStation 2. I just sat there and listened to Dearly Beloved for so long, and every single time that the main menu would like start to play or it would get close to start playing, I would, move the joystick around just so I could keep listening to the song.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. And then eventually I was like, okay, I guess I'll just wait for that thing to happen. And
yeah,
same thing, I thought
about.
it was the opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's just the main menu, and I guess just right off the bat too, what difficulty are you playing this on?
Normal. Just straight up normal. I didn't want to take the easy route because it said it gives me like rare or legendary items. I go, that's not fun. Okay. So I was like, and I don't know if I want to put myself, because it's not like there's a time constraint with us recording these videos and stuff, or these podcasts. But like, I was like, I don't want to be like, Gavin, I'm still stuck in Travers Town because I'm on the hardest difficulty and I don't know how to get out.
It's been 16 hours and I'm still here.
Yeah, exactly. So I went for normal just because I was like, I want to experience the story, but I'm not completely terrible at video games, so I think I can handle normal.
Okay. Well, yeah, absolutely no shame here in picking normal. I think that's what everyone chooses for the most part, I think. Once you get into it, though, you'll see that critical difficulty mode, and it'll be eyeing you. And,
yeah.
You'll have no choice.
I'll probably end up trying to go back and play it on a harder difficulty once I mastered the ways of the sword.
The sword?
It's a sword, technically.
I guess so. It's a key sword.
I mean, technically we could say it's a club because it doesn't have a blade part of it, and it's just round, and you hit things.
He uses the back of it to hit people.
Yeah, so technically it's a key club, but we'll get into that.
So once you start the game, you are greeted with the opening movie with not the orchestrated version, but just the
bumpin' ass version. Dog,
hell yeah.
Listen to it twice.
Yeah, it is fantastic, man. Simple and Clean by Utada Hikaru, and in Japanese the song is just called Hikari, and I recommend going and checking out the Japanese version of the song too.
Really?
I almost think I prefer it to some degree. It's a good track.
I don't know that remix version of Simple and Clean, because like when I was working at GameStop and Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out, I don't know if you know, maybe you do, but like, or anybody else out there, they have GameStop TV that is played on a loop all day long. So you know how many times I've heard Simple and Clean during the Kingdom Hearts 3 release? So many times. Yeah, so I was ready for it, and I was ready like to hear, and then all of a sudden it just like starts picking up some bass and some beats, and I'm like, what is this? I go, this is dirty. I go, I like it.
Hell yeah, dude. So before we go into kind of cracking open this opening movie and really dissecting everything that is kind of going on, I think it's important to say too, all of the Kingdom Hearts games except for this game pretty much follow the same formula in their opening movie. Every other Kingdom Hearts game will have this opening that kind of plays a recap of everything that happened beforehand, or kind of gives themes and just shows like brief little summaries of what you can expect in the current game. But this game doesn't really do either of those things, and a lot of people give the opening to Kingdom Hearts a bad rap, especially if they're not into the series, because of just kind of how weird this opening movie is. And there's actually some pretty good reasons for that, and I can kind of explain what's sort of happening here. But that kind of also involves going back to 1999, whenever Final Fantasy VIII came out. Tetsuya Nomura was not only just the character designer for Final Fantasy VIII, but he also did the opening movie. Like he directed the opening movie for Final Fantasy VIII. And if anyone here is like familiar with Final Fantasy VIII, you'll know kind of that opening is very interesting, because it shows the main character kind of outside battling somebody, and he gets cut on his face really bad and he gets injured, and meanwhile just like the words Final Fantasy VIII are just appearing all over the screen. And then whenever the opening movie is over, the game starts and it picks up immediately after where the opening movie ended. So this opening movie was not necessarily like a preview of the game per se, or showing off like many of its themes. Really,
a cutscene.
Yeah, it was essentially a cutscene, because then the game picks up like directly after that. And that's kind of what Kingdom Hearts 1 does here as well. It opens up with Sora saying this: "I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real or not?" And then we kind of see Sora standing on the shore of Destiny Island. He sees Riku standing in the water. Riku holds out his hand, and Sora runs out to him, but then he gets fucking demolished by a wave.
Majestic.
And then Sora pops up out of the water, and he runs over to Kairi, who's waving to him over there from the shore. And they both look up, and in shock, they see a bunch of shooting stars falling, as well as Sora falling from the sky. And then, in a completely natural turn of events, Sora becomes the Sora falling from the sky. And as Kairi's reaching out to him, he starts falling back into the sky, but it's also water.
I thought it was just a Portal reference, but you know.
And then Sora falls into the ocean, and he lands on a dark platform. And then Sora then takes a step forward, and then the darkness below his feet transforms into like doves, and they fly away, and they reveal the stained glass platform depicting Snow White, the 7 dwarves, the forest animals, and the queen in her hag form, and Snow White is still asleep, and all these other characters are depicted as awake. And then that's kind of where the tutorial starts. And then whenever this tutorial ends, Sora kind of wakes up. So not only is this dream sequence that you play a dream, but all of that opening movie was also a part of the same dream. That was just like the start of the dream. And I think that's just kind of one thing that a lot of people don't quite notice. I think a lot of people really try to read into all of the many themes that are shown off in this opening movie, but I think a lot of people don't totally realize that the opening movie is literally the introduction to the game. It's the start of the dream that Sora is having.
I thought he was just dead.
Oh.
I thought he drowned, and this is just kind of
like purgatory or something.
Not really purgatory, but like the Pokemon theory, like Ash Ketchum's in a coma, and this is all of his dream or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that was my immediate first thought. Was, did he actually drown when because he closes his eyes when he goes back into the water, and he like closes his eyes, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're into that weird dreamscape place. Yeah.
So I guess other than all that, though, I think the opening movie is fucking cool as hell.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I don't know this. This is purely ignorance. Was it ever like? I know it probably got some HD remix stuff, but was anything ever really changed, or was it like almost exactly the same except for like bumping up the graphics?
Yeah, no, it got a little resolution bump, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's the fact that's really all that I thought it was, and that's what you got when you got opened up on the PS2. That was absolutely beautiful. I'm not even gonna lie. That was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they definitely, Square over the many years they've definitely been touted for like their CG work. Anytime that they make like a film or their CG cutscenes that are outside of the in-game engine cutscenes, like they pretty much always knock it out of the park. It's always pretty masterful.
Yeah, for sure. You could tell it was very much of a passion kind. You know what I mean? It wasn't just drawing for a job. I mean, someone that was doing it could have definitely done it that way, but it seemed like there was a lot of care behind what was being shown, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So that's the opening movie. Like, I think so far, pretty banger. It's pretty much a banger of I guess opening. Just a presentation of what you're about to get. Because it's crazy, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And then, boom, you wake up, and you're just standing on this pedestal, and you hear a disembodied voice say, "So much to do, so little time. Take your time. Don't be afraid. The door is still shut. Now step forward. Can you do it?" I said, "Don't tell me what to do." That's literally what I said.
So you walk around for a little bit, and then you have these 3 pedestals kind of emerge from the ground. One has a sword, one has a shield, and the other one is a rod. And then the disembodied voice says, "Power sleeps within you. If you give it form, it will give you strength. Choose well." Yes. So, what did you pick?
Well, first, I just want to say I was upset when I saw the first thing pop up and it was a sword. I immediately was like, "That's not a Keyblade."
Yeah, I'm
upset about this. Why do I have just a Mickey Mouse sword that looks like you could have got it at Disney? I'm upset about this. But I did pick the sword because, one, I figured that it had to do something with damage, because you don't make people make decisions like this that aren't going to have some kind of correlation with the gameplay at all. I mean, you could, but why would you do that?
Yeah.
So I picked the sword because I was like, maybe damage, and plus it said, this is the power of destruction. I said, fuck yeah.
Nice. Then you're given the option to discard either the shield or the rod. Which one did you decide to give up?
I got rid of the rod because So I also thought, too, when it said get rid of one, I didn't know if it was going to be like pick your starter where you don't get the third you don't get that third Pokemon. It just sits there forever. Sure. Or I was going to passively maybe get that other thing that I don't pick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something. So I go, okay, I want defense. I don't really know if I want to shoot a lot of magic, so I'd rather be able to take a hit. So I got rid of the rod.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the description of the sword says, the power of the warrior, invincible courage, a sword of terrible destruction. The shield says, the power of the guardian, kindness to all friends, a shield to repel all. And then the rod says, the power of the mystic, inner strength, a staff of wonder and ruin. The benefits of picking the sword, I'll just tell you now. You start off, I think you can kind of infer this, but you'll start off with the highest strength stat, and then Sora is actually able to learn different... Basically, whichever one you choose, there are abilities attached to defensive stuff, magic stuff, offense stuff. Basically, whichever one you choose, you'll get those abilities first.
Okay.
Or at least sooner than you would with other ones. No matter which one you choose, you'll always get the same abilities. There are no differences in abilities that you obtain. This just determines how long it takes you to get those abilities. So with the sword, you'll get Scan the earliest. You'll get Scan at level 9, and this is an ability that allows you to see the enemy's health bar.
Oh.
If you were to choose another one, it would take you a little longer to get that ability. So I love having Scan, so you're not just fucking whacking away at a Heartless only to be like, when is this thing gonna die? And then picking the sword also grants Sora a lot of attack-based abilities earlier on. That's, like I just said. If you had picked the shield, Sora starts off with the highest defense stat, but he learns Leaf Bracer and Second Chance faster than picking up any of the other ones. And those are abilities that you'll get those later on, but they're good abilities to have for just kind of staying alive,
Okay.
It also has if you pick that one, by the end of the game, you'll have the highest amount of item slots. And then with the staff, Sora starts off with the highest amount of MP and AP, respectively magic points and ability points. And then Sora gets earlier access to air combo abilities.
Oh, I like the air combo stuff. I'm sad now.
No, you'll get it all.
I know,
it's just
but
if you pick staff, you'll get it really fast.
I want it really fast. It's really fun.
After making your choices, the glass shatters, and Sora falls down onto the second platform. And the second platform is shaded violet and depicts a sleeping Cinderella, the castle, one of the mice turned into horses, and the pumpkin chariot. And you see silhouettes of her and the prince dancing together, and the glass slipper. And then you hear the disembodied voice come in and say, "You've gained the power to fight." And then this is where we see our first enemy design of the game. And these Heartless are called Shadows. How do you feel about these guys?
They're little grunts, and I don't like when they go into the ground and dodge my attacks.
I hate it, bro.
it upsets me. I was pretty confident, with the lock-on system, because I played games with them before, so I know how to quickly switch between enemies and lock on really fast. God, it is so annoying to kill momentum when one of them just goes bloop under the ground and just gone, and you're just like, why?
Yep. And then it'll stay underground for 5 seconds, and you're like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, and it's like the last enemy just kind of dancing around. I'm just like, really? We got to do this?
But, I think also respect to them working kind of like how shadows work,
Fair.
Just
Fair.
on the ground, you can't attack them, but then they, come back up. Anyways. So you kill all these
shadows?
Guys.
You can punch
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Oh, dude, you gotta show me that sometime.
These shadows come up from the ground. You kill these guys. But before you do, the voice says, "There will be times that you have to fight. Keep your light burning strong." And so then you kill these Heartless. The platform turns into darkness, pretty much. And then Sora starts sinking into it. and then he somehow appears on a completely different platform. This third platform is shaded pink, and it depicts 3 princess silhouettes, representing 3 princesses, which I'm not going to get into right now. And then a door appears before Sora. But before it's able to open, the game kind of teaches you how to interact with different kinds of items and stuff. There's a treasure chest at you, and then the fucking box and the barrel and all that.
I fucking love the treasure chest scene. I really do. Yeah. Dude, It reminded me of the SpongeBob, like the open sesame. Like just
where he just like taps on it?
Yeah, just tink tink open sesame. It just opens up. And I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. So once this is completed, the door opens up and a bright light shines through it, and Sora walks through the door and appears somewhere on Destiny Islands. Yes. And then the disembodied voice says, "Hold on, the door won't open just yet." And then you see these 3 kids standing around you, asking you different philosophical questions.
Terrifying looking children. I think we kind of sped past it a little bit, but I mean, God, the graphics back then and them getting a little bit of a HD boost. Mm-hmm. My God, Sora and the children look a little terrifying in the face when they look right at me.
Yeah, so they kind of have these different models that they do. Every now and then in a cutscene, Sora will have a very animated face where you see his like mouth move around and you can kind of see his tongue move and his eyes like move in different directions. Like that's kind of the more complex sort of facial animation kind of design that they do. Whenever they're not doing that, though, I think it's so much worse, and they just have these
blank stares,
cardboard cutout faces, and their eyes just like blink, just like in frames, and their mouths just like flap open. Yeah.
Yeah, so, freaked me out a little bit. I was just like, stop smiling at me. I don't appreciate your face.
Yeah, I do think in the remaster, they actually were kind of touched up just a little bit. Not enough to be like, wow, that's an entirely new model, because it still looks creepy.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are touched up just a tad.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not giving any shade to the animation, because they were working with what they were working with, and back then I'm sure it didn't look like that. You know what I mean? Back on the PS2.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like, oh, these are just kids.
Yeah, yeah, and you get HD and like, a big screen TV, and you're just like, woo.
Yeah, games are photorealistic now.
Yeah.
And just animated movies just look really nice now. Anyways, there are 3 kids. There's 2 boys and a girl. The young girl asks you, what's most important to you? Do you remember what you said?
Yes, I went with the meme and said the power of friendship.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh yeah. Some Yu-Gi-Oh up in this.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to the Yu-Gi-Oh portions of Kingdom Hearts later.
Don't tease me with that. I swear, if there's no actual Yu-Gi-Oh portions, I'm going to be upset.
So then the blonde boy, he asks, what are you afraid of?
I responded with getting old, and that is a real-life fear that I have, for sure.
Understandable, man. And then the boy who's holding the ball, he asks, what do you want out of life?
I think I said to be strong, but I want to say, too, I also took that in a different way, because I'm sure in the context of the question it meant like actual strength, maybe. I took it as in like not just actual strength, but like in life and a bunch of other things too.
Yeah.
And that's how I took it, but I don't know if that's what it really meant.
So these questions do have some significance, primarily in the gameplay and how you level up, essentially. Just kind of how you grow in the game. Okay. So if you remember, then there's like some text that pops up on the screen, and it tells you what time of day your story, like your journey, begins.
Yeah.
It either begins at dawn, or it begins at midday, or it begins at midnight. Do you remember which one it starts for you?
Mine was midday.
Cool. Yeah, so if it begins at dawn, then Sora will level up really like quickly from level 1 to 50, but he'll level up really slowly from level 51 to 99. If it begins at midday, like you had said, then it's a consistent level up path the entire way from 1 to 99.
Okay.
So it's just consistent. And then if your journey begins at midnight, then you level up really slowly from 1 to 50. But from 51 to 99, you start to level up really fast.
That's really cool how that kind of changes, how they implemented that. That's actually a really interesting mechanic to put into the game. I find that very fascinating, actually.
Yeah. So, are you pleased with your choice? Are you happy to just get the consistent one?
Oh, yeah. Balance and just even keel is the best way to go.
Yeah. Well, cool. So right after all those questions, you appear on a new platform again. This is the 4th platform, and it's shaded red, and it depicts sleeping Aurora holding a rose surrounded by thorns and silhouettes of flora, fauna, and Merryweather, and the silhouette that Maleficent makes whenever she is vanishing into green fire. And then some shadow Heartless appear, and then there's like a stained glass staircase that takes you up to that last platform. Just kind of up till now, what have you been kind of thinking about with these platforms?
I tried to be like, get my theory brain out.
Yeah, try to look real deep.
I tried to look real deep into the stained glass stuff. I think the Sleeping Beauty one was a little interesting. Was the only one that really stuck out to me that I could even maybe make some bullcrap theory about. Just kind of like the thorns or like the shadow kind of creeping in, kind of always being behind. You know what I mean? Like in that story. That was really the only thing I kind of got from it. I was just like, okay, like store these panels in for later because they'll probably be important, but I couldn't really think. I could not come up with really anything, honestly.
Well, to be fair, I mean, not like you're really supposed to get it right now. The game has just started. You've just kind of entered this dream, and now you're just seeing Disney princesses just kind of on these stained glass platforms, and you're killing shadows and you're answering philosophical questions. I don't really think you're supposed to understand it just yet, but I am glad that you are looking into that stuff. I think there will be an answer to kind of the significance of these platforms, at least I would say by the end of this game. If you were to go back and look at that, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of what they were doing. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
But for right now, just in a dream.
Just in a dream. I mean,
yeah.
I also kind of looked at, which each princess was, you know what I mean? Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, you know what I mean? I was just like, oh,
sure.
Maybe they're themes, but like I said, I couldn't make a connection,
Yeah. So once you go up to that last platform, light shines down on top of you, and text comes up on the screen that says, the closer you get to the light, the greater your shadow becomes. But don't be afraid, and don't forget, you are the one who will open the door. And then during all this, Sora's shadow grows really long, and it gets huge, and it basically becomes this huge Heartless. And later on, when you're looking in Jiminy's journal, you see that this Heartless's name is called Darkside. So this is the Darkside Heartless, and it kind of resembles Sora to some degree, but it has this huge, like, heart-shaped hole in its chest. And then a battle ensues, and yeah, what did you think about kind of this introductory boss?
I was like, okay, it's happening, but then I also I don't know if hitting in vital areas could be a little beneficial, but I figured out I could climb up his arm and hit him in the head, and that's all I did, and the fight was over rather quickly. And I was just like, I didn't know if I was supposed to be able to do that or figure that out, but I did on accident. I was like, cool.
I think with Darkside, because you can attack both of his hands and you can attack his head, I think like all of them just whittle down his 1 health bar, but I think if you attack his head, I think it goes down slightly faster. I could be totally wrong though. What do you think about Darkside with like his design with like the heart shaped hole?
Oh, the hole in the middle. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I was more like focused on the fact that it was like Sora for like, what was that, like 2 seconds? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was just a shadow Sora, and I was just like, like it was like, okay, does that mean I'm like, is that the evil inside me? Is that the, you know what I mean? Like, am I the good? Am I the hero and the villain of the story? Like, why? You know, because it could have just been a shadow. It could have been just a blob of darkness that turned into, this boss. But it specifically was Sora. And that's what I found very weird.
The long hair and stuff. And
yeah, it was specifically
definitely had some
Sora.
kind of resemblance.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that has to be important to some degree.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. So
dang it, I want to know.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, you kill Darkseid, and then Sora wakes up and he blinks his eyes, and he is on the beach of Destiny Islands. Kairi berates him for a little bit.
Yeah, she's like, relentless, man.
You fucking idiot. Whatever she says, I don't know.
Yeah, for word, you fucking idiot.
So you just wake up from that whole experience and you're trying to make sense of all of that. And then this is actually interesting. A shout out to the YouTuber Regular Pat for pointing this out, because I thought the same thing as him my entire life, like since I played this on the PS2. So Sora's like, oh, this big black thing swallowed me up, like I couldn't breathe, and then he goes, ow. And then she says, Sora, you fucking idiot, whatever she says, I don't know. And then, but I've always thought that whenever Sora says, ow, I thought that was just him, like, having a reaction to, like, a migraine headache or something.
I thought it was his heart.
So,
like a panic attack or something.
Yeah, because he just goes, ow.
Yeah.
And you kind of hear this, like, sound, and I didn't know what it was, but if you look really, really closely, for like 1 or 2 frames, you see Kairi's hand go down, and she just hits fucking Sora on the head.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, and this is new information to me. I did, because I've never been able to. I guess I just haven't been looking at it, but I've never seen her hand come down. But on the this HD remaster, maybe it's in the original too, but you can see like for a frame or 2 frames, you see her hand come down. This is a tangent, but I definitely thought that he was just having like a headache or something, or like it was a mental ow.
Yeah, know? I thought it was a panic attack. Like, he was like, I was drowning, and I was being swallowed. You know what I mean? Like, he just his heart started racing. He was just like, it hurts. It hurts to think about. Like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. I would be freaked out too.
Nope, fucking Kairi just hit Sora.
Just right in the back of the head.
right in the head. Right after he tries to make sense of what just happened, Sora and Kairi, they talk a little bit about the other world that Kairi is from. And Sora says that he wants to go see all the worlds out there. So it's kind of starting to imply, okay, Kairi's not from this island like how Sora and Riku are. And Riku comes over and he's carrying a log, and then he destroys Sora with the log, and he mentions getting back to, building the raft. Mm-hmm. And then the 3 friends, they share a friendly race, and then Kingdom Hearts appears.
Fucking hate that race.
I
hate that race.
Wait, the race in the cutscene, or the race where you actually race?
Oh, no, I was talking about the actual race.
Yes. Well,
oh no, the race in the cutscene, that's fine. I had no control over that.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff to pick apart about that race that you can hate, like
what?
like Kairi's laugh whenever she's running with them. It's pretty haunting.
Oh god, now I gotta go back and or maybe I'll just go see a supercut just to see just that clip right there, because I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
there's so much information.
Yeah, so they go and they run off, and then the title Kingdom Hearts appears, and now the game is officially starting. And as soon as you kind of get control of Sora on Destiny Islands, you talk to Kairi, and she tells you to go grab some materials for the raft. It's 2 logs and 1 cloth and 1 rope.
Yes, and no directional path whatsoever.
Thankfully, it's not like a huge island, so it can be kind of annoying just running around being like, where the hell is it? But, it's You'll find it eventually.
Yeah, eventually you'll figure out to climb inside of the treehouse to find the cloth. That didn't take me like 15 minutes to figure out. No, that was fine.
Just hanging on the wall. You have to like hug the wall in order to grab it. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was. Oh man, it took a lot longer than I'd like to admit.
Sure.
I was like, where the hell is this cloth?
Yeah.
Because I found the rope. I found the rope completely fine. I walked up to the thing. I saw the rope. I go, oh, cool. And I just walked over and grabbed it. But the cloth took me like 15 extra minutes to find.
Yeah, I think that's commonly the hardest one to find for most people starting off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was talking about too, as like, this game will kind of tell you what to go do, but not necessarily tell you how to do it.
I wasn't even expecting an arrow. I was like maybe some green like
it's a highlighted or something.
Yeah, like something.
Yeah.
I was thinking something like that. No, it's just a log on the ground.
Yeah, this is just base Kingdom Hearts PlayStation 2 bullcrap. So, anyways, as you're kind of continuing, just kind of searching around the islands, you see those same 3 kids who you saw in your dream. Do you know who these people are?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. No,
okay,
I don't.
That's fine.
I just know they creep me out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to know who they are because I know you've never played a Final Fantasy game. But the boy with the blonde hair, he is the main character of Final Fantasy X, and his name is Titus. I've always pronounced his name as Titus, but I think in one of the games, like in the Dissidia games, somebody says his name, and I think it's the first time that Square Enix got someone to voice his name, and they say his name is Titus. But
that's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't care what. No, that's wrong.
It's spelled Tidus, and I've always just pronounced that as Titus, so I'll call it Titus. But he doesn't really appear again. So,
Mr. T.
if that upsets you, don't worry. I won't say Titus anymore, I guess.
Mr. T. That's his name now.
Then the guy with the ball. He is also from Final Fantasy X, and his name is Waka. And
that's the best.
Yeah, and actually in Final Fantasy X, he has the same voice actor as Bender from Futurama and Jake from Adventure Time.
Oh no way! That's crazy. Yeah. That's cool.
And then
does he have the ball in Final Fantasy?
He does.
Does he have that?
Yeah,
ball?
That ball is.
Oh, he does.
It's actually. I mean, now we're talking about Final Fantasy X. That ball is basically the sports ball of the main sport of that game, and he's like, him and Titus are both like big time players of that sport. So he's just kind of holding that ball, and uses that to attack you if you decide to fight them later on. But then the little girl, her name is Selphie, and she is one of the main characters of Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got 2 characters from Final Fantasy X and then 1 from 8. Like I've explained to you as well, like their inclusion in the story is more so just fan service for people who know who they are.
Yeah, kind of like a little nod to the people that play Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like they have story significance. Like they'll relay information to you that's important to the lore of Kingdom Hearts. But for the most part, it's not like you need to know their stories in Final Fantasy to know, what they're about.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they're just here on the island, and they are all, like, children versions of their characters in their original games. Like, they're not actually that small in the original games.
Okay. I thought they were children in that game, too. I'm not going to lie to you.
So, these Final Fantasy characters, they live on this island area. They live in the Destiny Islands with Sora, Riku, and Kairi. And I don't know if you get the chance right at this moment, but like I had said earlier, you get the chance to fight them all. And it kind of basically
fight all of them?
Yeah.
You could fight all of them?
Yeah.
I thought you could only fight Riku.
Yeah, so you can fight them all individually, and then you can fight them all at once, like in a 3v1.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Just to
why would you do that?
Get some experience points, bro.
Experience points? You mean
you can level up? Yeah.
I lost all 3 fights to Riku, so I don't think a 3v1 would have went very well for me.
To be fair, I think Riku is the hardest of all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You start beating the crap out of him, and he does like a, just gets back up on his feet, puts both feet in your face, and just like, yeah, there you go. There's half your health.
Yeah. So up on that little island, you got the option to go fight Riku, and really those points, they don't mean anything. It's not like by the end of the game, it's like it shows your stats, and it's like, wow, you fucking loser. You lost to Riku 6 times, and Riku won the race. Yeah, man, you suck. It's not like that at all.
I was so prepared for that to be a thing.
No.
I was so prepared for that to be a thing.
This is all pretty much just to emphasize friendly competition and childhood camaraderie just kind of on the island. But for the most...
Childhood camaraderie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean...
Beating the crap out of each other. Nothing like bringing children together.
Yeah, it's so funny. All of them, every single one of them are like, how to pass the time. Want to beat each other up? So... Yeah, so that's kind of just that's the first thing that you get to do. You go bring all the materials back to Kairi, and then you get a cutscene. And in this cutscene, they're all just kind of chilling. The sun's going down. They're sitting on the tree. They're all discussing about leaving the raft and going to other worlds and seeing what else is out there. And Riku definitely seems to be like the most hellbent on leaving home. Also, just kind of as a side thing as well, I know I'd mentioned that Riku is older, like by a year. He's 15 and they're 14. But in Japanese culture, longer pants are typically seen as more of the mature and older status, while shorts are seen more as the younger and immature group of people. And
so what's capris?
What's a capris? I don't know.
You just don't know what you want.
I couldn't tell you. But I just kind of say that because Sora in this game, he's wearing shorts, and Riku is wearing pants. There's that. I don't know how much significance that has there, but Sora definitely seems to kind of be the younger brother. And I think in this early parts, even though Riku's kind of being a bit of a jerk to Sora, like I think they both really like each other a lot, and they like just hanging out and doing things together and fighting each other. Like it's just what they enjoy about each other. But there's definitely that like older brother, younger brother kind of relationship between them. Yeah. And so as they all kind of start to leave this tree, Riku throws a Paupu fruit to Sora, and he starts kind of teasing him, and he says, if two people share one, their destinies will become intertwined, and they'll remain a part of each other's lives, and no matter what. And Sora's like, what? No, what do you mean? And then they run away. And
wait, do we ship? Who do we ship in this? I'm just.
Who do you want to ship?
I don't know, because I feel like.
Oh boy, I didn't know we would be talking, guys. I'm sorry. We are so early. We are so early.
It's so out there though. In like the first like 10 minutes, it's like there's tension here. Somebody likes somebody, and I don't know who it is.
We'll talk about shipping later on.
We'll get into it.
They're preteens. Dash. They're 14 and
it makes it okay because they're shipping preteens with preteens.
So, anyways, let's
open a whole can of worms.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another day. Anyways,
different podcast.
So we kind of get this jump cut in the cutscene to Disney Castle. And we see Donald kind of walking down the hall, and he's got his little getup on. You can kind of tell he's the court mage based on just kind of his wizard hat and all that. And he walks into the king's throne room, and he sees that the king is not in there. And then Pluto kind of peeks out behind the chair, and he hands Donald a note. And Donald just runs off screaming. And Goofy, who is kind of in his court knight getup, he's just kind of sleeping in a field. And then Donald, without even really trying that hard to wake him up, he just fucking gives him the electric chair.
Yeah.
He's
like, Goofy, wake up. Oh, that's not working. Let me try this.
Thunder, yeah. And so Goofy, defying all laws of physics, gets up and is like, "Hey, Donald, what's going on?" And Donald tells Goofy that the king left this like really cryptic letter, and he's like, "No one can really know about this. Like, this is just for me and you to know." And then you get that scene. Tell me what you think about this whole cut scene of Disney.
I was all about it. I'm not gonna lie. I was loving every second.
The little
of it.
miniature door that he walks into. Love that.
Literally, one of my notes says, "That is a door that is way too big. That is ridiculous." And then he opens a smaller door. I go, and literally under it, I wrote, "God damn it."
That door is comically large. That door is comically small.
Yeah. And then, he walks over, gives Goofy the good old electric chair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then he starts talking to Minnie and Daisy behind him. He's like, no, like, not them. Like, I'm trying to talk, he's like, I'm trying to tell you what's going on. He turns around, and my next fucking thought was, Minnie's head is huge. That is, like, comically large. Why did they make her head so big?
Yeah, big old head.
Big old head.
But that's kind of that's where it sort of ends as far as that scene goes. Then we get a jump back to day 2 of Destiny Island. You hop off the raft. Kyrie's no longer in front of that little door anymore, and you can walk through and go to a completely new area of Destiny Islands. And Riku is chilling. And
no. Dude, let me tell you.
Tell me about this.
Let me tell you. I could not find him for like 20 minutes. Really? There was something about when I first walked through the door, the camera didn't it was cut off.
Yeah, you just went straight. You didn't look around first.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just went straight. So I didn't know he was right there until I was walking all over this goddamn island, trying to figure out where. They're like, "Where's Riku?
Yeah.
You got to get him to even progress to what we're doing today." And I'm like, I don't know where he is. I don't know. And then I turn around because I was like, I'm going to get this chest that's to the left, when you jump over the little the little platforms. Yep. I was like, I'm going to grab that chest. And as I'm pushing or I'm holding the thing and I kind of turn, I see Riku in the corner over there. And I go, you got to be kidding me. I was like, I was searching for you for so long.
So y'all go and you talk to Riku, and then the race kind of is about to ensue, and they're kind of talking about it, and Sora's like, oh, well, Riku initially says, if I win, I want to name the ship Highwind, and if Sora wins, you get the option to name the ship, but the default name is Excalibur. Did you rename it, or did you just leave it as Excalibur?
I did rename it.
Oh, yeah? Hit me with it.
The U.S. Tugboat.
Okay.
I don't know why that popped in my head. It was the U.S. Tugboat. That's what it was.
Cool. So this is actually, I know you've gotten to the part where you get to the gummy ship, but whatever name you choose is the name of your gummy ship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So now you're flying around in the U.S. Tugboat.
I'm so happy. I could die happy now.
Yeah. So, Sora, then after you rename it, Sora adds that if he wins, he gets to be the captain of the ship. But if you win, and then Riku interrupts, and then he says, I get to share the Paopu fruit with Kairi. And then Sora's like,
this is why I talked about the shipping thing.
Yeah. And then he's just like, yeah, no, how about that? That's the deal. Whoever is the winner, gets to share the Paopu with Kairi. And Kairi has no say. Kairi doesn't get to put her input in this.
No, she gets a chance. She just walks over and goes, I'll ref. That's all she says.
Yeah, she's like, guys, come on, let's go. Let's race.
Yeah.
So then, you count down, and this is where the game teaches you about platforming. And I think it's very interesting that the game teaches you how to platform while you are in the middle of a fucking race. You don't really have time to try to get these controls down,
Oh, my God.
And so, how many times did you race Riku before you restarted your save file?
So 5. 2 of them were just to prove I was better than him.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, if you've ever played a remaster where they don't touch the game at all and they just leave it how it is, like Crash Bandicoot, like when they remade that game, PS2 platforming is so slippery.
Oh, yeah.
It is so slippery, and the amount of rage that I had, because I just know that it's not my fault, that the fact that I'm pressing go and jump like almost instantaneously and it just walks off the ledge, upsets me to no end.
Yeah. And then there's, whenever you climb up that ladder to take the zip line, if you jump up just straight up, Sora will grab onto it. But if you move the analog stick in any direction, he just let go. He lets go and he just jumps off in whatever direction you're pointing the joystick. And I think that's the worst. That was the worst
Took
design.
me to the third race to figure that out.
Yeah.
Dude, I had it down to a speed runner strat at that point. Like,
yeah.
I would, as soon as he said go, I would let Riku kind of get in front of me a little bit, let him take off that first platform.
Yeah, let him eat the shit.
Yeah, I let him fall. I jump. I could make the jump from the platform to the ladder, and like would jump onto that, climb up the ladder, and then go down the zip line. I was so determined to make sure I won at least more than once.
I remember I was so pissed off at Riku just during that whole portion, because I think at some point in the race, if you're paying attention to Riku always at some point just stops and starts walking. And I'm like, you fucking asshole.
You pretentious motherfucker.
Piece of shit. What are you doing, bro? I wanted to just kick him in his fucking mouth, dude. I was like, get out of here, dude. Anyways.
No, I completely understand that. And like it felt like cheating almost. Like, you knew the platform was gonna fall, and if he was close enough to you when you were walking up to that point, he like slowed down, so you could not make that jump no matter how early you timed it, and it ticked me off to no end. So
you have this race, and there's no way that you can let this man share the Paopu with Kairi, because in my head I'm like, fucking, that's for Sora and Kairi, bro. So
oh, that's the ship. Okay, I see how it is.
For me at least. I don't know. But anyways. So there's that race portion, and then I think, whether or not you win or you lose, it doesn't really matter. I think you get to change the name of your ship at any time, like later on. Anyways, again, childhood camaraderie. After all of that, you go and you talk to Kairi, and she basically is like, hey, I got more shit for you to go get. And she says, you got to go get 1 seagull egg, 3 mushrooms, 2 coconuts, 3 fish, and you got to go fill up this bottle with fresh drinking water.
Yes.
So, yeah, you got to go do all that. And
I accidentally collected some of those before I even talked to her.
Yeah, no, that's good. That only just makes it easier.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just saw the egg, and I was just like, what's that? I go, maybe that's like a thing. And I collected it and said, you got a seagull egg. I go, cool, what's that for?
Yeah. And so whenever you're out there and you're looking for the mushrooms, one of the mushrooms is over there in a little cave called the Secret Place or Secret Cave, whatever they call it. And whenever you go and you pick up the mushroom, we get a little cutscene. And it opens up with Sora kind of having this memory of him and Kairi drawing each other on the wall with little rocks. And they're both kind of holding stars in their hands, which I like to I think that's the Paopu fruit. And they're both like sharing it with each other.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, he has this little memory of them doing that, and then he kind of gets down there and he finishes drawing the Paopu fruit. I think he's getting a little jealous of Riku, and he really wants to share the Paopu fruit with Kairi. And then somebody is standing behind him.
Yeah.
He's wearing a brown robe. And he says, I've come to see the door to this world. This world has been connected, tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed. You do not yet know what lies beyond the door. There's so very much to learn. You understand so little. And Sora is understandably freaked out. He's frustrated. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get out and learn what's out there. And then the Sackman says...
Sackman.
A meaningless effort. One who knows nothing can understand nothing. And then Sora kind of looks over at that door that's just chilling there in the cave, and then when he looks back, the Sackman disappeared. So what do you think about this whole scene?
My first thought was Sephiroth. I think that's how you say his name, right?
Interesting.
The guy with the long hair. I don't know. I don't know why.
Sephiroth.
What? Is that how you say his name?
No, yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
Because I know who Sephiroth is.
Yeah.
That would just be so fucking funny if that was. If that was Sephiroth.
I didn't have a lot to go off of, right?
Yeah, I know.
And I know Final Fantasy characters are in this, and I go, yes, it could be a Disney character that is doing this. I go, but I feel like it's probably a Final Fantasy character. That's what my thought process was. And
I'll just say this is an original character.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was way off.
That would be buck wild if that was Sephiroth.
I mean, Sephiroth is kind of like, pretentious and a dick, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
so,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought it was Sephiroth, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." It's
his classic outfit, his nighttime robe that he wears.
Well, no, they were trying to conceal his identity for later.
Oh, the big reveal that Sephiroth was behind everything. Yes. This is hilarious. I'm not berating you. It's just in my mind, that is the funniest alternate universe of Kingdom Hearts.
It's Jiminy Cricket. That's who's under the cloth.
Oh shit, there. It's Jiminy. That's why you can't see his face because he's so small.
Yeah, he just uses Pinocchio to use the cloth.
So. Right after this cutscene plays, you kind of have the option, and I think you can walk in here. Basically, if you're exploring this little cave, you can look at the walls, and you see there's lots of, chalk graffiti all over the place.
Yes.
But if you are looking closely, there's a lot of foreshadowing of the Kingdom Hearts games in these drawings, and there's Easter eggs, and there's chocobos from the Final Fantasy series. It's a room full of Easter eggs.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like... My first thought was how, I know we know that they know about different worlds, but, do they know that Mickey's castle is, a thing?
No.
So, that's where I was like, how did they draw that on the wall?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. It's not like that's not really explained. This is just, I think, a room for the developers to kind of say, oh, look at these, these kids are just drawing just random kid stuff. And yeah, some of that stuff is Disney Castle and Donald Duck and shit.
I was just like, wait, what? How?
Yeah, but it's all just referential. It has nothing to do with their knowledge. I don't think. Yeah, I think the only reason that they know that there are other worlds out there is because Kairi seems to be from a different world. And based on their conversations, that's kind of their whole MO is figure out where Kairi's from and go explore all the other worlds out there. But other than that, I don't think they know any details about any other kinds of worlds.
Has he traveled to other places besides just his world and the island? Because the way he talks, it makes it sound like he's been to
Sora.
No, Kairi. Not Kairi. Riku. It sounds the way he talked. It made it sound like, obviously he was like, there's other worlds out there and stuff, but it sounded like he's gone at least to one other place before he came to the island.
I think Riku just kind of has this sort of coming of age kind of, I don't know, in a little bit, Sora and Kairi have this conversation with each other, and they're kind of talking about how Riku has sort of changed. They're like, ever since you came to the island, Kairi, and so I think he just wants an escape. I think Riku really just wants to leave, and he just wants to go exploring. And like I said, I think he, whenever they're talking earlier, he seems definitely to be more hellbent on getting out there and finding the other worlds. But I don't I wouldn't say he's like been to other worlds.
Okay. I was just curious if he's like maybe, just figured out how, he can leave. He just kind of chose not to. He was like, this is a safe space. I'm just going to stay here.
Nope, but they do all agree collectively that interspace travel is done via raft and like 3 coconuts and 1 bottle of water.
I mean, how else do you get up into the sky? I mean, get a sail and some really strong wind.
Hell yeah. So anyways, before that scene though, where they're talking about Riku changing, you grab the mushroom, you leave the secret cave, and you go and you hand everything back over to Kairi. And whenever you get over there, Kairi is like right in the middle of making a necklace, and she explains it's made out of thalassa shells. And thalassa is just the Greek word for the word sea. So she's basically just making this necklace out of seashells, but she mentions how sailors used them as good luck charms to help guide them back home, and that they'll never be separated if they're all holding one. And yeah, that's actually true to like Viking mythology and stuff. So
ooh,
very, very cool little details there. I mean, it's not like she really goes into too much detail about it, but just some did you know kind of stuff, some trivia.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool though. I like that.
And so the day ends. Sora and Kairi are sitting on the dock together. They talk about how Riku's changed since they actually have started trying to leave the island. And then she tells Sora to never change. But she also does this weird thing where she's like, Sora, me and you, just me and you, together, let's go. Let's leave the island, just me and you. And Sora's like, wait, what? And she's like, ha ha ha, fuck you. So, I don't know.
I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, no.
Because she immediately like shoots him down because he's like, wait, really? And she's like, no.
Well, it's kind of weird because like when I first met those characters, I literally thought, even though they don't look that similar, but I thought that Sora and I'm blanking on the name for some reason. Yeah, Kairi were siblings more than they were actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of got it at first. So when he was like, "Oh, you can share the fruit, with Kairi," I was like, okay, I didn't think anything of it until.
But Riku, that's my sister.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's cute, like siblings stay together forever, kind of thing, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Did not think of that, and then she was like, "Oh, let's leave," and I was like, that would make sense, and then then I just started thinking about it. I go, no, they're not siblings. They're
all just homies. They're all childhood friends, and they all just want to leave this island and go, go exploring and all this stuff. But
they hate the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, they're just kind of talking about all that good stuff, and then she says to never change, and then we get back over there to Mickey's castle, and so we get Mickey's letter, and so this is what the letter says. Should I do it in Mickey's voice?
I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that actually.
All right, hold on.
I can add a few he-yucks in there if you really want some.
But he doesn't he-yuck. Anyways. So he goes, hold on. Donald, sorry to rush off without saying goodbye, but there's trouble brewing. Not sure why, but the stars have been blinking out, one by one, and that means disaster can't be far behind. I hate to leave you all, but I've got to check into it. There's someone with a key, the key to our survival. So I need you and Goofy to go find him and stick with him. Got it?
Gosh.
We need that key or we're doomed. So go to Travers Town and find Leon. He'll point you in the right direction. P.S. Would you apologize to Minnie for me? Thanks, pal. Signed, Mickey. So that was
amazing.
Yeah, thanks, man. So he explains stars are blinking out, worlds are just, ending. And he's like, I gotta go figure out what the fuck's going on. And then Donald and Goofy, they basically assure to Queen Minnie that they'll go find this so-called key, and they'll bring Mickey back home. And then Minnie and Daisy send him off with Jiminy Cricket, and he's just kind of hopping on the table. And then as they're kind of on their way out, Jiminy explains that his world had disappeared as well and he was separated from his crew of people. And then they talk about how they should not try to meddle in other worlds because that could destroy the world order. And then Chip and Dale, they set them up in the gummy ship. And those Disney boys set off to find the king and the key. So
I had two laughing reactions to one, seeing the gummy ship and seeing all the polygons. I laughed a little bit. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yep.
And then two, when he said blast off and then it just dropped.
Yeah.
I laughed way too hard at that.
Yeah. Yeah, some classic Disney humor.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was like that's classic cartoon humor right there.
So then the world kind of shits them out, and then they go off in the gummy ship to go find the king and this key. And so then we go back to Destiny Islands real fast, and Sora is just kind of in his bedroom, and then he notices that on the island there's a storm, and so then he goes to check it out. And then we get the camera kind of going around his room, and then in my notes I just wrote, Sora has a mom.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, you gonna skip over that? I go, who called him?
I guess it's his mom.
No. What are we?
Sora, because what did she say? Like, Sora, time for dinner. Sora, okay, or whatever.
But so you're saying that all these kids came from different places to this thing, and Sora's the only one that brought his mom?
Brought his mom? What do you mean?
How did they end up on the island? You said they're from different worlds.
That's just where they're from. Kairi seems to be the only one who just kind of appeared there one day.
Okay.
Yeah, Sora and Riku are like childhood best friends who grew up. This is all, we're getting into stuff that's kind of explained a bit later on in the series. But I guess for now, like, they want to know about other worlds. Like, Sora and Riku want to know about other worlds because from their perspective, Kairi just came to the island one day and she doesn't really remember anything about her original home. But then they grew up together after that. And so they all kind of just live there on the island. And so it kind of does this thing where, like, Sora's in his room, but then the Destiny Islands where we play this whole tutorial level is a separate island. So there's kind of like a mainland. Think of it kind of like Hawaii, I guess. These are our island boys.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I guess Sora has a mom. And then even whenever you get over there, so Sora hops onto the shore of Destiny Islands, and there's all these Heartless just kind of taking over the place, but you can't attack any of them because you just have a fucking a wooden sword. And then you see Riku standing up where you fought him the first time, like near the tree, and he's talking about, like, you know, he's like, the door is open, like, this is our chance to leave the island. And then Sora even says, like, what about our parents? And Sora's like, we don't need parents where we're going, or whatever the fuck he says. And
I didn't catch that, but okay. I did not catch that.
Other than Sora's mom being like, Sora, time for dinner, then they have a very brief conversation about, like, what about our parents? And then he's like, we may never see them again, but that's just, you know, hey, if this is what we want, if we want to leave and get off this island, like, now is our chance. Like, we're probably never going to see our parents again, but guess what? That's just the way it's going to have to be. And I just think that's so crazy because even still now, with all of these games out, this is the only mention of their parents.
And they've never gone back either, I'm assuming. So
this is just the only time that we've heard anything about parents in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
That's just crazy. Like,
like how I was saying with the development stuff of this game, there are lots of things about this game that they put here because they weren't sure if a sequel was going to come out. So there are some things that kind of appear, there are some things that are said that kind of get a little bit retconned later on. Some things are a little bit iffy, and there's even some stuff in Travers Town, like in a lot of the exposition dumps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I don't want to, like, put too much light on it because I don't want you to think about it too much. But there's just some stuff here and there that's said where it's like, that actually is not that way anymore since this game has come out, you know, blah, blah, blah. So Anyways, one of these things.
No parents. Dead parents. No longer.
So Riku's like, come on, dude. Like, take my hand. Like, this is it. Like, we're actually able to leave now. But it's clearly a terrifying situation, and there's just darkness everywhere. But then Riku's like, I'm not afraid of the darkness. Like, this is going to get us off this island. Like, come on. Like, take my hand. Like, come with me. Like, we can get off this island.
I got such evil person vibes from him doing that. Like, I was like, that doesn't seem like a heroic thing. Like he's like, I mean, obviously he's not the main character, but like, I was like, you seem like that's like evil almost. Like, that seems like, I'm not scared of the darkness. I want it to envelop me. Like, I want it to take over. I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, definitely some baddie vibes right here. And then Sora is actually, he's kind of like, okay. And like, he's like reaching out for Riku. And then the darkness just kind of keeps on enveloping the both of them. And then right as the darkness basically swallows them, Riku is gone, but Sora stays, and a flash of light appears, and then he's holding the Keyblade. And then a few times on the screen, we get like these words, Keyblade. And then you can start killing Heartless. You don't really know where Riku went, but he was there 1 second, and then he was gone.
Dude, my first thought was, did he turn into the Keyblade?
Did he turn into the Keyblade?
Hey, we're dealing with dark shadow magic. You don't know. I see a flash and then there's a Keyblade in my hand. I'm like,
yeah, dude. It's like Nightblood from Warbreaker, and Riku is Riku is the Keyblade now.
He just turns into the Keyblade. But I had a thought about, like, was the darkness struggling with Sora because Sora's too pure, and that's why he was kind of like, it was kind of like this fight, and then Riku still, because, you know, they mentioned having darkness in your heart is what attracts the Heartless to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, was that why it was such a struggle for Sora when he was trying to reach out his hand? And Riku looked like he was, I mean, he wasn't reaching out, but he wasn't struggling either.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I was like, I kind of read into that. But hey, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we will see. We'll see what the deal is with Sora's light and all that. So yeah, the light flashes, Sora's holding the Keyblade, and then whenever you run over there to the secret place, there's just like that huge door that you saw in your dream, just kind of standing in front of the secret place. And whenever you walk inside, you run through the little tunnel, and then you see Kairi is standing there, and she kind of like is very zombified, like she seems like she's like about to like fall over, like she's possessed or something.
Yeah.
And she says, Sora, like she just says his name. And then the door behind her flings open, and darkness is just spilling out of it. And Kairi just goes flying, like, through Sora's body. And, like, she doesn't, like, come out the other side. She just, like, vanishes.
Yeah.
And then Sora is then thrown out, and he kind of lands on this big chunk of island. And here we have our second battle with Darkseid.
Yes.
So I guess
up the first one.
Yeah. Up to this point, before we start fighting Darkseid, what do you, other than, oh dang, Riku definitely seems like the big evil.
Yeah.
What else are you thinking? Just kind of like that whole scene with Kairi.
I was like, this shit's going down. I was like, shit's going down, and it's getting. I feel like I was gonna get thrown right into the wolves. You know what I mean? Like, it was gonna be no holding hands. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like, time to play the game. You know what I mean? No more
Kingdom
tutorial.
Hearts time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just interesting to see, like, kind of the door was open, and what I thought was gonna be like a light scenario. You know what I mean? Like, light was gonna be coming through and everything. It was totally not what I thought was gonna actually happen.
Yeah, it almost seems like a very evil door.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I can't speculate too much because I don't have enough information to start making cohesive thoughts. All I thought was, you know, it's going down. Why is the door not giving light? I thought it would have been a good door, not a bad door. And why is Riku a Keyblade?
So after defeating Darkseid, Sora is sucked up into that big ball of darkness that's just kind of hovering over Destiny Islands. And then the whole world, like Destiny Islands, just gets completely destroyed.
I mean, I guess that makes sense why his parents never came back.
Yeah, because they're fucking dead.
They're fucking decimated.
Yeah. I guess before we hop into Travers Town, what do you think of Destiny Islands? I just want to know just kind of that whole tutorial section of just being on there, hanging out with your buddies, you know, learning how to kind of function in the game. What do you think about like just Destiny Islands?
It's definitely first world, you know, opening up a video game, kind of getting your bearings. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's like going to play, you know, Jack and Dexter and you jump into the first island. There's not a whole lot to do, but there's enough there that it gives you a good grasp on what you're supposed to be doing and where the story is going to potentially go, whether that's collecting stuff, exploring your environment too.
Yeah, it's like a tutorial stage.
Yeah, definitely to look in the cracks and crevices, you know what I mean? Like, check up high, check down low, you know, open up this box, throw it. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't destroy that box, you idiot. You could have used that to get up higher. You know, why'd you just... That's what it really felt like to me, and I thought it was, you know, it was good for what it needed to be.
Yeah, and I think personally for me too, I just see Destiny Islands nowadays, and I just think, hell yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 like takes me back. You know, it's kind of this very nostalgic and very, I don't know, it's very iconic whenever anyone discusses Destiny Islands, or I see like photos on the internet or something of Destiny Islands. I'm like, hell yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1, baby. Like, I miss that.
Yeah. I mean, I wish there was a little bit more to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted a little bit more to definitely explore, but like I said, it did what it was supposed to do.
Sure,
it wasn't too much, wasn't too little.
So, now we are in Travers Town. We kind of get this little scene where Donald, Goofy, and Pluto are kind of walking around Travers Town, and then Goofy goes, "Look, a star's going out!" And then one of the stars just kind of blinks away. They walk off, and Sora is just chilling in one of the alleyways, and he wakes up from Pluto just fucking
being
jumping
dick
on him. Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down Pluto's a dick. That's all I said.
For some reason, like, he starts running after Pluto because I guess he's going to ask Pluto questions. The dog?
He did. He goes, "Do you know where we are?" He's like Pluto's going to sit there and be like, "Yep, I know. Let me tell you all about it."
So he goes off, and then he's like, "Wow, whoa, this is another world. Like, this place is definitely not my island." And so you're kind of walking around, and already, how do you like the music in this place?
Not as good as like the opening and like the menu to me. That's me personally.
Yeah.
Wasn't
what
bad.
What about like could you compare it to like Destiny Islands? I guess I never asked you. What do you think about just kind of the Destiny Islands theme song?
Chill vibes. That's all I kind of got for. Yeah, it's just,
Island boy vibes, bro.
Jesus Christ. But no, I mean, like, I guess I try to pay attention to the ambient music, but at the same time too, Destiny Island was a lot easier to pay attention to because there wasn't much going on. There was just so much going on at Travers Town that I didn't really get to really sit there and take it in. You know what I mean? I kind of heard it and I was just like, okay, cool, but like, what am I supposed to do next? You know, that was my first thought. So I didn't really get to enjoy it as much as the intro, Destiny Island, and like the main menu.
Yeah. So you're walking around Travers Town, and then whenever you kind of leave into that first area, the first thing that Sora sees is somebody's just running, and then they fall over, and he just fucking dies. And his heart flies away from him, and it kind of gets like infused with darkness, and it becomes a new kind of Heartless that we see that's like wearing armor and stuff.
Welcome to NYC, baby.
So that's kind of weird, I mean, I just think it's funny because one, they couldn't, the PlayStation 2 couldn't really put a whole lot of stuff on the screen, or at least they weren't really trying to do that much with this first game. Like, they didn't want to overload everything. So he's from what Sora is seeing and kind of what the camera is showing, we don't really see him running away from Heartless. He just kind of falls over and dies.
Oh, really? So in the PS2, he just dies, and you're just like, well, that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it can be inferred that he's, like, being chased down by Heartless, and the Heartless kill him. Or they, like, take him over or whatever, and his heart flies out of him, and it becomes a Heartless. But whenever you just look at it from the technical standpoint, like, Sora just walks through that door, and the first thing he sees is a guy just, like, he trips, and then he just dies.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening in this place. I was like, okay.
But, so now, as Sora's kind of walking around Destiny Islands, I wrote in my notes, or not Destiny Islands, Travers Town, I wrote in my notes, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah, the constant walking through different doors, and, I mean...
just missing each other.
Thank God that was there, because I wouldn't have known where I was going if that didn't happen.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of your guide. It's kind of your guide, and like, yeah, you're going the right direction.
Oh yeah, and it's terrifying when it stops happening, and you're like, am I lost? Did I not go through the right door?
Yeah. So, just some notable things about Travers Town to kind of point out. There's the Gizmo shop that you can walk in through, but whenever you're looking at the Gizmo shop from the outside, it definitely looks like a church, you know?
Yeah, giant bell at the top. Yeah,
like that big, like, Catholic style, like, long stained glass windows and stuff. You got the bell on the top. But it's like, it's the Gizmo shop?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of it, and I was like, but there's actually... I mean, maybe later on there's something to buy from there. Or something, I don't know, but I was just like, okay, there's just this floor. There's nothing in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of just thrown in there to be like a wacky little level in Travers Town. At least that's kind of how I take it. But I think also, just when I'm talking about the outside design of this place, I think it's very interesting to point out that it kind of looks like a church because Travers Town acts as a hub world for the first Kingdom Hearts game, right? Mm-hmm. And Square has had this history with Final Fantasy video games, and in those earlier Final Fantasy games and all the, the 10 games that came out before Kingdom Hearts, pretty much every town that you would go into, there would be the shop. There'd be the item shop, the equipment shop. There would be a church that you could walk into and resurrect a character if they were dead, or you can go in there and buy like healing items or something like that. I think they really just kind of designed it this way to kind of make it feel more like a town village type area, but also I can't help but think maybe it's another one of those I don't know, it's kind of just a nod to like, yeah, you're playing kind of a Final Fantasy game, like this is our hub world, yeah, there's a church here, even if you can't really use it like it's a church in the other Final Fantasy games. There's something here that looks like it. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too deep into that.
I just thought it was like, like Quasimodo, like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, gotcha.
Notre Dame. Yeah. That's what I thought, because I did pick up the church thing. I go, oh, it looks like a church, and then later on when, you get to the 3 bells in that courtyard.
Yeah.
And it says something about ringing the bell up top, or if you look up top of the shop, there's a giant bell, and I go, was that a reference to, the Hunchback of Notre Dame? I go, or I don't know what it was, because I haven't figured it out, but...
Gotcha. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy, they Scooby-Doo a little bit, and there's like a hotel that you can walk in through. You just kind of walk down a hallway. There's like a bell that you can ring, and like a little if you ring the bell enough times, there's like a little guy who moves the curtain, and he's like get the fuck out of here. I can't remember what he says. Like, he just says,
oh wait, really?
Some weird cryptic shit. Yeah, he says something kind of weird. I think you get like an item or something if you ring the bell enough times. I don't know.
Oh, I gotta go back and do that then, because I only did it once, and they're like, it seems like it's just a picture of a bell. I'm like, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
yeah, like a field or something.
Yeah.
But then also, Travers Town has become incredibly progressive as it is housing dogs. Dogs now have their own condo. Pongo and Perdita from 101 Dalmatians. Yes. They're basically just living here inside of this condo by themselves, and you get like a little, hey, here's why this is here. It basically says there were the 99 puppies other than these two. They got lost in the midst of their world's destruction, and now Sora can collect them out on his journeys.
Wasn't their layout the same as the one in the movie though?
I think it definitely resembles like their mansion or whatever.
Yeah.
They're living there and they're very sad and all alone because all 99 of their children are just gone. But, you know, like the little text says, you can go out and find them. This is not required for the story in any way, but it is just kind of, you get cool items for collecting the lost puppies. You'll just like find them in treasure chests and stuff. It'll be like, hey, you found Dalmatians 46, 47, and 48.
Oh, okay.
And then, it's just stuff like that. So you kind of, and then in Jiminy's journal too, you get like a little stamp thing with like paw prints that tell you, here are the ones that you found. Here are the ones that you have not found. So there's kind of like, there's a little bit of collect-a-thon elements here and there.
That's not bad. I mean, it's fun to have like a side directive if you're just like, oh man, like I gotta make sure I checked all the nooks and crannies here, you know, just in case. I want to make sure, I want to be thorough.
Yeah, and I think it's like every 10 or so that you find whenever you walk back over there into, you know, the house that they're in. One, you'll see more puppies just kind of populating the place, and it's very cute. But also, you get like little items, like little gifts from Pongo and Perdita.
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute. But yeah, that's for later stuff. This is just kind of introducing that area. Whenever you walk back out into that first area that you wake up in, there are two shops. There's the item shop where Huey, Dewey, and Louie are just... sorry, no. That's the equipment shop, I think.
Where were these shops? I could not find them, or everything was closed. I'm not really sure.
Oh, wait, did you not find where Huey, Dewey, and Louie were?
No, I saw that they popped up in my journal as like people that I've seen or like met.
But you're like, I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't seen these people. Like,
interesting.
I swear to God, they said, oh, there's a bunch of shops around here for equipment and stuff like that, and I only, like, I saw like the clothing shop and that was closed, and I like walked around and
it's literally
blind.
It's right next door. It's like, whenever you're on the ground floor of that first area and there's those lampposts and there's like a little coffee shop and there's like a treasure chest that you can't open. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like in the first part of the hub world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's down there. It's like right below where Sora woke up. There's a little shop. Yeah, you walk through that door. I think there might be like 2 doors that connect to it. But yeah, you can walk in there, and that's where Huey, Dewey, and Louie are. They just sell you items or equipment or whatever.
Oh, okay. I was looking in that whole second area because that's where I saw most shops, and I thought, oh, maybe they're closed just because of what's going on, and they'll open up.
Yeah.
So I was looking all over there, and I was just like, there's nothing. There's nothing here.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, all of those doors are basically, they stay closed. You don't explore those doors or anything.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. But there's the main other shop that you walk into that I'm pretty sure is required to walk into to progress the story. But you see a man named Sid who is running the item shop, and Sora starts calling him Gramps and shit.
Yeah,
and
it was great.
Which is a little weird because that's not really how Sora's character is in other games. So it's kind of funny for me looking back at this game, and he's like, I'm not a kid, Gramps, or whatever he says. It's just funny to me.
But I like how he kind of took him under his wing. He's like, well, if you get in any trouble, like after this brief like conversation he's had with this person he's never seen, he's like, you come to me and I'll take care of you. And I was just like, okay, cool. Thanks.
So do you know who Sid is?
It's no. Is it a Final Fantasy character?
He is. He's from Final Fantasy VII.
I knew it.
Yeah, his name is Sid Highwind, which, if you also remember, is what Riku wanted to name the raft, Highwind.
Is he a good sailor?
So here's the thing about Sid in the Final Fantasy games. Every single Final Fantasy game has a Sid. And it's not the same Sid. It's always a different Sid, but they pretty much always are the same kind of character. They're always like the person who you go to do airship stuff. Like they're always the pilot or the ship captain. So it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing that they would name the boat and the gummy ship the Highwind, because that's your ship that you use to fly around. And then Sid Highwind is here in the shop. Hey, it's all just little references
nice.
for
It's a nice
Final
little
Fantasy
connection
games.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, so you walk out of the item shop after that, and Sora is then greeted by a man who wants Sora's Keyblade. He's like, give it to me. Leon, and he is wielding a huge sword that is also a revolver.
Yeah. I want that one. I don't want the Keyblade. I want what he has.
Yeah. So no matter if you win or you lose this fight, Sora faints. And I think if you win, did you win or lose it?
I actually won that fight.
Nice. Yeah. So you get some pretty solid experience points, and a voice says, "Hey, you found it. Nice going, Leon." And then you look over, and it does this weird pan up. Her legs and her like exposed like stomach.
Yeah, is it Yuffie? Is that her
Yuffie.
name?
Yeah. So, you know who Leon is?
Is it a Final Fantasy character?
He is actually. He is the main character. He is the main character of Final Fantasy VIII.
Yuffie, I've heard before. That I knew. I kind of knew the name. I've heard.
Yeah,
it.
she is in Final Fantasy VII.
She's the one with like the. She's okay. I could be so wrong here, and I could make a whole fan base very angry. Is she the one with the red gloves and like the white tank top?
No, that is a different character.
I am so sorry.
That's okay. You've never played any of them. That's okay.
I know.
So we are introduced to Leon and Yuffie, and I'll just say this now. It's kind of brought up in a little bit. But Yuffie later calls Leon Squall, and then Leon's like, hey, it's Leon. Like, that's Leon or whatever. He says this because the main character to Final Fantasy VIII, his name is Squall Leonhart. And in Kingdom Hearts, he's the same character, but he's just like, my name's Leon now, or whatever. Because she's like, nice going, like, Squall. And he's like, that's Leon. And this is interesting because there seems to not really be a fucking purpose for this. Why? I don't understand why they didn't just continue to call him Squall. Because, you know, Yuffie's name is still Yuffie. Sid's name is still Sid. You know, like, I don't really see the reason why he changed his name to Leon. But they even reference his name being Squall, but he's just like, no, it's Leon now.
Interesting.
There's not really any Kingdom Hearts significance about it. Like, there's not anything like in the story that's going to happen and you'll be like, oh, that's why he changed his name.
Oh, there it is. That's the secret.
Yeah. But in Final Fantasy VIII, his name is Squall. And then whenever he's put into Kingdom Hearts, he's like, nah, my name's Leon now. And so, yeah, so anyways, Final Fantasy fans get PO'd whenever people see Squall and they're like, it's Leon. And they're like, no, it's Squall. Like,
his name is Squall, get it right.
Yeah. Right after this little altercation between Leon and Sora, Yuffie shows up, and then they kind of drag his unconscious body to the hotel.
The green room.
Yeah, but before we get there to the green room, we get a little cutscene that is exclusive to the Final Mix version of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
This
Really?
This cutscene was not in the American PlayStation 2 version. This was Japanese only, and that's why we don't get any voice acting for this scene. But we get this little scene where Riku wakes up. Like, we get Riku's perspective, so we kind of see what happened to Riku, where he ended up after the storm hit the island.
Yeah.
And he wakes up in this unfamiliar place. He's, like, looking around, and he's like, where am I? And around him, it kind of looks like he's surrounded by this huge reverse waterfall from all sides. And
I thought it was ice.
Yeah, then there's you see like ice too, like you see these like floating ice bricks or whatever just around him.
Interesting.
But it's very it's visually very bizarre. Very very cool little area that he's at. And he's calling out for Sora and Kairi. And then we, in my notes say, then we see a mysterious hand watching from the distance because
Really?
all we see is this person's hand.
Oh, come on. I know exactly who. I mean, should we even say it or unless someone doesn't know?
We'll say it because later on, like, we'll discuss who it is too, but this is clearly Maleficent.
Yeah. Very, very much so.
Yeah, so Maleficent is watching him, and he sees Riku out there in the distance. And then that's it. It's a very short, very brief little cutscene, but, kind of gives us a little bit of context for some stuff later on.
Where he's going to become, and the fact that I thought he was evil is more confirmed. Just,
We'll see.
Uh-huh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So, Donald and Goofy, they run into Aerith, who asks if the king had sent them. And Donald acts as if he's seen a ghost. So this is Aerith, and she is one of the main characters in Final Fantasy VII.
Did she die?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Anyways, so
Can't dangle that fruit in front of me and then not...
Okay, so here's something very interesting. Here's some more trivia, I guess, about Aerith.
Ooh, yay.
In this game.
Gavin facts.
Okay, here's a Gavin fact. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, and in the English release, the translation was a little bit off. So the word that they use for Aerith's name is the same in Kingdom Hearts as it is in Final Fantasy VII in Japan. But whenever they were translating Final Fantasy VII in English, they changed her name to Aerith, like Aeris, instead of Aerith. But that's because her name said in Japanese is Erisu.
Erisu.
Okay. And so it's like that. And there is no TH sound in Japanese, I don't think.
I think you're right on that. They don't have like a TH or something along those lines. Not like we do in English.
Yeah. So whenever they were just translating Aerith's name to English, they went with what they heard, Erisu. So her name, whenever you name her character, the autofill name is Aerith. But this is a mistranslation. This is not her actual name. Because in this game, in Kingdom Hearts, this is the very first time that we are getting voice acting from a lot of these Final Fantasy characters, and they're saying the names of these Final Fantasy characters, whereas before, with the exception of Final Fantasy X, everything else was just text-based, so you're just reading all the dialogue. So however you pronounce it in your head, it's kind of just how you think it's pronounced. But now Kingdom Hearts comes along, and Kingdom Hearts basically, it's kind of weird because they do this thing with Leon where they change his name, but then they go and they say Aerith's name as Aerith. And people are like, well, that's how it's pronounced, like it's official. Like they said it in the Kingdom Hearts game, like that's how Aerith's name is pronounced. Some people will still try to argue with you about it, even though it's like been confirmed that Aerith is a mistranslation and that's not her name. Anyways, this is kind of a tangent. But it is important to know too that this really is the very first time that we are getting some of these characters' names actually pronounced by voice actors, like squashing some debates in the Final Fantasy community.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Nice little gaff back there.
Yeah, thank you, man. So, but then we see Sora. He wakes up and he kind of starts hallucinating. He's talking to Yuffie, but he thinks it's Kairi. And then he's like, "Man, Kairi, like I'm so glad, here you're here." And then she's like, "Yuffie, or who's Kairi? Like I'm the great ninja Yuffie." And then she's like, "I think you did a number on him, Squall," or whatever. And then he's like, "No, it's Leon." And anyways, they explain that the Heartless are tracking Sora because he has the Keyblade, and they want his heart because it's very strong. So then Leon does this thing where he calls Sora the Chosen One.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too deep into this because I don't really want you to be thinking about this too hard. But this is another one of those things where, given the lore of the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games, this is not really a true statement.
So he's Neo.
Yeah. Like, a piece of me thinks maybe this could just be another one of those translation things. Because, yes, Sora is the main character of these games. You are, like, following Sora's story for the most part. But Chosen One, that's debatable, you know? And I'm not going to go any more deep than that. Just know it's little things like that where whether you take it at face value or you try to look into it, it doesn't really matter on the whole. You'll get further down the line and you're not going to be like, but wait, I thought Squall said that Sora was the chosen one. Like, you're not going to be thinking like that eventually, you know?
Yeah, I think I kind of had the idea already that it was like, I think when one time we were at work, we talked about the Harry Potter thing. Yeah. And that, you know, Harry didn't necessarily need to be that person. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like it was just, it's a strong... what did Leon say? It said something about, like, you know, you have no impurities in your heart or whatever it was. Sure. I think that's what it looks for. It's not necessarily Sora itself. It's the fact that he's really pure of heart is really what it is.
Yeah. So he calls him the Chosen One, and then they kind of do this. The game does this very interesting exposition dump in a way where it sort of transitions from Sora receiving information from Leon and Yuffie, and Donald and Goofy receiving the same information from Aerith, but it kind of just bounces back and forth. Which I like, because I guess you could just sit there with Sora the entire time and they just tell him all this stuff. But I think I think the scene would seem really long and really drawn out. I kind of like that they decided to do this sort of bounce back and forth.
Yeah, and it kind of also kept putting it in your head that they're potentially in different places. They're not necessarily like one room over from each other.
Sure, yeah.
So that was kind of fun to figure out that, like literally, you know, when the whole, when the whole thing went down, it was like the door opened. It's like, they were right there.
Literally right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they explain that the knowledge of other worlds has been kept a secret because the worlds had never been connected until the Heartless pretty much showed up. Mm-hmm. And that'll continue to kind of be explained later on. But then they also explain that the Heartless are attracted to the darkness inside of people's hearts. And then Yuffie asks, have you heard of someone named Ansem? And then we get a cut to Goofy who goes, I am Sayum?
Yeah.
And so then Aerith explains that Ansem studied the Heartless, and he put all of his research and all of his findings into detailed reports that have been scattered across different worlds.
Of course they are.
And then from that, Goofy pretty much deduces, I guess the king went to go find Ansem, or at least those reports or something.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we gotta go find him, and we gotta go help him or whatever. And then Donald does this thing where he grabs the camera and he pulls it down.
Yes. I wrote down Deadpool. Like that's
the
fourth wall break.
Stuff. Yes.
It was great.
Yeah, he grabs the camera and he's like, hey, well, we need to go find the key first. And just as Leon is kind of explaining how the Heartless are afraid of the Keyblade, Sora remembers that he lost Riku and Kairi. He's like, wait, my home, my island, Riku, Kairi. And then, boom, Heartless just kind of start appearing in the hotel rooms. And we get that scene, like you had said, door swings open. Oh, shit, they were right next to each other the entire time.
Great slapstick cartoon door gag.
But the fucking JPEG that they use to just show Donald right there, like it's so clearly just like an image.
Oh yeah, it's
of a
bad.
3D model. Yeah, it's weird.
It was really bad, but I was like nice. I was like, I can appreciate the slapstick. Yeah, I can appreciate it. It's art.
Yeah, so they all flee the hotel, and whenever Sora enters the third district, Donald and Goofy, they're fighting this other Heartless, and then they kind of get yeeted off the rooftop, and they land on top of Sora. And then they're like, oh, the key! There it is! And then the boss fight with guard armor ensues. And this is interesting, too. Guard armor in the original Kingdom Hearts game had a completely different color palette. Something that the final mix versions do, and I don't know why. I don't know why they do this, but they do this thing where they add a bunch of extra color to a lot of enemies, and they'll just completely change the color pattern for a lot of enemies in the game. I don't know why. Guard armor, then that's the name of this boss that you fight. In the original game, he was just basically black and purple. But in this game, he's kind of like red and yellow and blue and silver. It's very interesting. I don't know why they changed the colors of him, but
I'm looking at stuff right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, why did they change the colors?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, not that I'm not a fan of the color change.
Oh, no.
I just don't know why they did it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the other one kind of looks a little more imposing, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot scarier to me. That would have been a different kind of feeling I probably would have felt when I jumped into that boss fight if it was a different color.
Yeah, maybe. And this is kind of where this happens. This is the moment that Sora, Donald, and Goofy get to talk to each other for the very first time. And this is the start of this trio of characters that you will grow to love very, very much. And Goofy, it kind of starts with Goofy basically inviting Sora to go travel with them in their gummy ship to go search for the king. And then Sora is basically like, well, like, I wonder if y'all can help me find Riku and Kairi. And then Donald's like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then he leans over to Goofy and he's like, fuck no, dude. Like,
yeah, he's like, not happening.
Yeah, he's like, we are doing our thing. We got to go find the key. And he told us to find the guy with the key, and we found him. So we just got to bring this guy with us, and he'll probably just help us find the king. And so then they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, you can get on our ship with us. And then Donald says, you can't come aboard looking like that, though. No frowning, no sad face.
Oh,
and
God.
then we get
the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, we get Sora cheese.
Dude, even like Goofy's face kind of was. I was like, that makes me uncomfortable. I was like, it was a little creepy,
So we get this little scene, and they make fun of him for it. But then Goofy does the all for one and one for all, and they all put their hands in the middle, and it's this iconic little screenshot of all their hands in the middle, and it's like, there it is. That's the start of our boys. And then right after that, we get a little cutscene of this sort of council of villains led by Maleficent. This is kind of where we see Maleficent's face, and we're like, okay, she's doing some shit behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, and that was like I've always been a person that kind of likes the villains, so I was like very happy, especially because of Hades. I absolutely love Hades.
Yeah. Yeah, Hades is a great character, voiced by James Woods in this game too. So that's cool.
Oh, did they? I mean, I know the voice sounded, it sounded like Hades, but I was like, I don't know if that's the same actor. But yeah, that's cool.
Him.
That's actually
James
fantastic.
Woods, yeah.
That's fantastic. I like that.
So yeah, this whole little scene happens, and they're just like watching Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and they're like, look at those fucking cartoons with their human. Yeah, they're just like, they're plotting, and Maleficent shows up, and she's like, we can use this Keyblade. We can use this Sora character. And then you get back over to Travers Town, and then Leon, Yuffie, and Aerith, they send the gang off with 500 money, and Sora learns the spell Fire and the ability Dodge Roll. So now you can
know how to use it.
You can roll around. I think it's with the circle button, maybe. I
pressed every button. Nothing happened.
Oh, you have to go into the abilities portion of the menu and equip them, and then it shows you, here's how you use it.
I was so confused. That seemed like one of the things that would just like Like, it's bound to circle now. Like, that's just what it is.
No. Yeah, you have to equip that. It's weird, but yeah.
Fair. I will do that when I jump back on, because I was like, I'm so confused. Why isn't this working?
And so I know, based on kind of what you've told me now, I can assume that you pretty much just left, right? I'm assuming you just left and went to the world map. Well, if you remember, if you did any sort of searching around.
Wait, I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, in that third district, there is a door with a flame on it. I don't know.
That was what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
The circle with the three shapes in it, the green one, the blue one, and the red one.
Oh yes, the Trinity. Those you learn how to use trinities, and you kind of start off just knowing the color blue, right? So whenever you come across little Trinity marks that have the blue color, you can press triangle or whatever it wants you to do, and you kind of do a little thing. The three of y'all, the Trinity of guys, y'all do your little thing, and you get little special items, and you can get up to tall to reach places. You can find treasure chests and all this stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was like a battle like thing. Like if you find them, you can get different stuff. So I was like walking over, like, because I found a few of them like ahead of time, and I was like, "What are these?" And I wrote it down because I was like, "Oh, this is something." And then they were like, "Oh no, this is what this is for." And I'm just like, "What is it for, though?" Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you'll get more colors later on as well. Right now, you just start off with blue. And get those items and stuff. So yeah, I encourage you, whenever you find those, when you learn the colors, definitely use those. I don't think any of them throw you into any sort of like enemy encounters. They're pretty much all just like goodies, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, but this fire door, I may have to go back to Travers Town now.
Yes, because now you have the spell fire. And yeah,
that would make sense.
That's the only sort of push in that direction that I'll give you. But
okay, I'm just, like I said in the prequel, Dash is not like the brightest crayon in the box. Okay,
the prequel,
the prequel episode.
That was the prologue, actually.
Same thing.
If it was the prequel, it would be like we did this episode first, and then the next episode we recorded is the episode 0.
They don't know when we recorded these episodes.
I guess so. Anyways, but that's where we're gonna stop right now as far as this discussion goes. I know we went really deep, and I basically went beat for beat, scene by scene, like every piece of dialogue almost. That's not what I'm gonna do for like the next couple of episodes. I really just wanted to get a deep look into just how this game initially presents itself to the player. Because as you proceed, like going forward, I know I mentioned it to you, there's just some stuff that can kind of be skimmed over as far as just a deep conversation. But whenever it starts to have stuff to do with the sort of Kingdom Hearts lore and all that, I'll have more questions for you around, all that stuff. But yeah, what do you think of Travers Town as a whole?
It's a cool little place. I like that it's a hub. Like you can always go back to it, and it's just this hub world that you can constantly visit and go pick up things and kind of a rest spot. It doesn't always need to be like every town has a spot where you need to, okay, I got to make sure I have all my stuff. It's like, oh no, I can go to Travers Town, see what I need to get, and then go on to the next spot.
Going forward, do you have any expectations of, I don't know, maybe any theories to lay on me right now?
I mean, besides the fact that Riku turned into a Keyblade, I mean, I think I mentioned to you, like, I think it was today, there's a theory that always fits with almost every game that you could possibly do, and I'm 100% sure. I haven't looked anything up, but I am 100% sure it's probably been out there. But all of this is a dream. That's literally the first thing. I mean, you get a little bit into it, that's the first theory that's going to pop into my head, because it's just like, it makes everything feasible in the scope of the realm, the going to different planets or whatever, like, because that could just, them saying, oh, we're going to different planets, realistically could be just their imagination saying we're gonna go off and, you know, go to these different places and whatever. And then, you know, like I said, Sora could have gotten hurt or drowned, or, you know, was drowning and then kind of was unconscious. And this is just what he thinks of when he's in that state, just that big old like adventure, you know, while he's unconscious.
All I will say is we don't know what was in those mushrooms, bro. In that secret cave, bro, we don't know. That was. I mean, hey, we could have. There's a lot of plants on that island. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of weird fruits. What the fuck is the Paopu fruit? So
really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and stop it there. We've been talking for a good 2 hours now.
God, has it been 2 hours already?
It has been 2 hours, and that was the introduction to Kingdom Hearts. Dude, I'm so happy that you're playing this game. I can't wait to go through other stuff. I'm
excited.
If you're still listening to this, if you're playing along with us, the next stopping point. So now we have left Travers Town for the first time, and we have our options. We're gonna go exploring a little bit. There is going to be a part in the game where you are required to go back to Travers Town, and once you go back to Travers Town and you do everything that you need to do over there, and then you leave Travers Town again, that's where we're gonna stop.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
all right.
That's where we'll stop. I'll be sure to put that in like episode descriptions as well. So yeah, that pretty much covers it for this episode. Yeah, I think we got all of our notes in. Unless you had anything else to say, I don't know if you have anything that you want to plug for yourself. You're welcome to do it.
I mean, no, not at the moment. I mean, if the need arises, then definitely later on. Then maybe. Yeah. But at the moment, I don't post anything on anywhere. So you know, it's. I'm just really excited to be a part of all of this and finally getting into it, and you know, just getting started with the story and seeing how excited we both are when we see each other at work. Like, I really want to talk to you about this, but I can't because we need to wait. Yeah, it makes it really exciting to keep going. And then like, you know, today I was so excited to start recording. I was just like, let's do this. Let's talk about it. I've been itching to talk about it.
Yeah, you didn't even shower when you got home. You're like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, I was like 5 minutes. I was like, let me just set up my stuff real quick. And I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, and then also just thank you, everyone, for all of the fantastic feedback that we've been getting of our introductory episode. We hadn't even really started talking about the game proper yet. We just kind of went over development history, but boy, oh boy, I'd be lying if my ego was not fucking through the roof. All of the wonderful messages that I've been receiving from all of you guys. So just thank y'all so much. I'm incredibly excited to, you know, continue doing content like this, and it would be a dream of mine if this could be something that we continue doing and you know, becomes the thing that I do. I don't know. But maybe. Yeah, you can. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, other than that, you can. We do have a Patreon. There is the Overleveled Podcast Patreon. Links to everything that I start plugging are in the description below. Currently, there's no active like tiers and rewards in the Patreon. It's seriously just a way that if you feel that the best way that you can help out this channel is via a monetary number, that's totally just up to you. That's something that we are greatly appreciative of, and it is absolutely 100% not necessary. But I appreciate it nonetheless. That link will be in the description. Also, join the Discord. Have conversations with me and Dash. You know, talk to Dash about Kingdom Hearts and stuff. Don't spoil anything, though. If you do spoil stuff, mark it with a spoiler tag or something so that he knows not to, you know, look at those comments.
Not the brightest crayon in the box, people. Remember.
So, but yeah, so join our Discord. That's really the big place that I want to see more people. It's just in that Discord community. And of course, thanks to everyone who's just commenting on the YouTube videos as well. But there's also the Twitter account. You can find my Twitter account. It is at overleveledcast on Twitter. You can email me at overleveledpodcast@gmail.com. And I think that is it. Maybe somewhere down the line will be like, well, you forgot to plug that. Like anybody would fucking tell me that. Anyways.
You forgot to plug your own stuff, man.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys very much for this journey through the intro of Kingdom Hearts 1. I look forward to next week. Or wait, hold on. I want to say too, I hope the next episode can come out next week. But this episode was a lot of note taking and a lot of time I spent locked away in my office typing away. So maybe I might not go as hard in the next episodes as far as just all of the notes, just beat by beat, detail by detail. Like I think he
said it was like four worlds I gotta get through before I go to Travers Town or something like that.
It's there's a few worlds, but anyways,
yeah.
I've tried ending this podcast so many times now. I'm just gonna end it now. I'll let y'all know whenever the next episode comes out.
No, it never ends.
Yeah. All right. Later, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.